Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya wal mursaleen. Assalamu alaikum, my dear brothers and sisters. And I'm really pleased to see you all here. We're talking about a very serious and a very important issue that is affecting a large number of Muslims. More than 1 million Muslims of Uyghur descent are being held in concentration camps. And the sad thing is, this is not on the front page of the newspapers. And also, unbelievably, it is not on the agenda at the UN Security Council. And the only two countries that have actually raised concerns about this mass incarceration of more than 1 million people is Turkey and the UK. And we're so, so proud of Turkey. We're so proud that Turkey is standing up for justice and peace and for humanitarian rights for all people, especially Muslims. So I do have some slides that I wanted to share with you. And I also brought some letters that I'd like you all to give out to your MPs and to speak up, because it is our responsibility to speak. And Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu anhu reported that the Prophet ﷺ said that whoever is engaged in helping his brother, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will fulfill his needs. So if we want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us, then we have to help our brothers and sisters. And this is a huge, huge calamity. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will ask us what we did when we were aware of this situation. So I can't actually, do you want to have this slide advanced, or let me see? I think I do. So as the sister has mentioned, the Xinjiang province is in the northern region of China, and the Muslims are being basically evacuated from their homes and moved into concentration camps. Am I able to move the slides? And you've seen these images, and these are really, really concerning images, that we're seeing this network of concentration camps, and there are crematoriums being built there as well. So as the people are dying, they're being cremated. And the world is watching. And no one is really doing very much. As we've seen, we haven't seen this type of crimes against humanity since the Holocaust. And this is happening to our Muslim brothers and sisters. If I can't actually move the slides from here. So if I can have someone just move the slides for me. It's very, very sad to see children being removed from their parents. We talk about child separation as being one of the most painful circumstances for parents and for children. As a mother, I used to fear that my child might be abducted. And I would do all the safety measures to make sure that my children were safe, and I'd have them registered at the police, have them fingerprinted, and teach them all the things about where is your address, what is your phone number, everything. That is the greatest fear that a mother has. And here we're seeing millions of children being stolen from their parents, separated from their parents, and placed into orphanages. And the parents, can you imagine how heartbroken they are? Look at these children. They've been removed from their homes. It is unbelievable that the size of the problem, the size of the child separation, no matter which community it happens to, is a crime. And the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ specifically spoke out against child separation, even for prisoners of war. He would never allow child separation. And this is happening on a massive scale. Can I have the next slide, please? And as you've seen, what can send you to a detention camp? Well, if you refuse to eat pork, or refuse to drink alcohol, or if you pray, or if you wear hijab, or wear a beard, then you're going to go to a detention camp, a concentration camp. If you prevent the officials, the Chinese officials, from moving into your home and sleeping in your home and eating in your home and monitoring you, then you will be sent to a concentration camp. So as I've mentioned, the Muslim countries have been silent. They've been silent. And why are they silent? For financial reasons. Because China is a superpower. So this financial benefit is happening, and it's coming with the blood of the Ummah. And they're silent on this point. Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch have called on Europe to address these crimes against humanity with China. Next. And so what are we supposed to do? What is our responsibility? So as Muslims, do we have a responsibility? Well, let's look at what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Holy Quran in Surah Al Imran, verse 104. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, "Let there arise from you a nation inviting to all that is good, Islam, and enjoining what is right, al-ma'ruf, and forbidding al-munkar, evil, and those will be the successful." So as Muslims, it is our responsibility to enjoin right and forbid evil. And if we do that, then we will be successful. And it is our responsibility to convey the message of Islam and to enjoin right and forbid evil till the day of judgment. That is our responsibility. And if we do that, then we will be successful, and then we will be the best of nations. But if we do not do that, then we are deserving of the curse of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Next. And again, in Surah Al Imran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us further on verse 110, "You are the best nation, produced as an example for mankind." Why are we the best nation? Because you enjoin al-ma'ruf and forbid al-munkar, and you believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if we are Muslims and we believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is our responsibility to speak up and to enjoin right and forbid evil. And it is a shame that today Turkey is the only Muslim country that has the bravery and the courage to speak the truth. The rest of our global leaders, we know their condition. And it is a shame. It is a shame that we see this happening today. If we fail to do our duty, then evil and corruption will spread. And we are seeing this today. There's another genocide happening to the Rohingya Muslims. And we will deserve the curse of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that whoever of you sees an evil, then he should stop it with his hand. And if he is not able to do so, then he should stop it with his tongue. And if he is not able to do so, then he should hate it in his heart. But that is the weakest of faith. Do we want to be of those who have the weakest of faith? Those are the people who don't even pray. Do we want to be at the bottom of the barrel, just hate it in our heart? Or do we want to be those who uphold our responsibility, which is to stand up and speak out when we see evil? It is our responsibility. The least we can do is fill in these letters to the MP and raise our voices, because this is evil, crimes against humanity that we are seeing happening on a massive scale, and the world is silent and watching. Next. So, what is the definition of genocide? And we have the criteria that define genocide, and it means essentially that one group is destroying another nation. And how are they destroying that nation? They're killing the people of that other nation. They're causing serious bodily or mental harm. They're inflicting conditions of life calculated to bring about the destruction of that other nation. They're preventing births, and they're transferring children from one group to another group. So this child separation is key to a genocide. Taking one group's children and brainwashing them and enabling them to forget their roots, their culture, their religion, and subjecting them to the cruelty of being separated from their parents. This is what constitutes genocide. And today, all of these criteria have been met for the Uyghur Genocide, which is happening today. Next. Okay, so what can we do? Well, first of all, we have to recognize that there is a huge problem that is unfolding. And if it is not on the front page of the newspaper, it is our responsibility to put it on the front page of the newspaper. How can we put it on the front page of the newspaper? By raising awareness. We need to start petitions. And we will be starting a House of Commons petition, and we're going to ask everyone to sign on that petition. We've got letters that have been developed and drafted. These are very simple letters. This is a paper format, and I'm going to ask that these be circulated. And everyone, I've got 100 copies here. Maybe we can just have them circulated. Please photocopy them, sign them, send them off to your MP. We're going to have these available in an electronic format as well. We need to ensure that every MP and MPP in Canada is aware of our concerns. Join the rallies, join the demonstrations, hold education and awareness sessions, and call up your MP. Go with 10 or 15 or 20 people and say, we are concerned. MPs listen if there are votes involved. And so speak to your friends and your neighbors and bring gatherings to the MPs' offices. We need to raise the issue amongst the Canadian MPs and MPPs, so this will become a priority in our Parliament. And then and only then will Canada raise these concerns at the UN Security Council. If we don't do our part, then Canada has no reason to do anything. So if we want to see this being addressed by Canada, we need to make our concerns heard. And this is our Islamic responsibility. Just like we pray, just like we eat halal food, it is our Islamic responsibility to speak up. What would we want if this happened to us? Would we want people in another country, if they had the freedom to speak for us, would we want them to raise their voices? Or would we want them to be apathetic and just worry about their own food and water and just be enjoying their own life? So we should think, our brothers and sisters are suffering today. It is our responsibility to speak up. We need to spread these letters and meet with our MPs and meet with our political representatives. Next slide, please. So what are we asking Canada to do? Well, the 4 key points that we're asking Canada to do are listed on this letter. And on the back page are all the references. The key references are all listed there for you. We've done the work for you. All you need to do is send it to your MP. And we're going to be having an electronic version of this available as well. Send it to your MP. We want Canada to partner with the Five Eyes countries. Who are these Five Eyes countries? Canada is one of them. UK, the US, Australia, and New Zealand. And we want a fact-finding mission dispatched now to this province to document the atrocities that are happening. The modern-day concentration camps have to close, and these children have to be reunited with their families. Next, please. We are asking our government to hold the perpetrators of the violence responsible for the crimes that are being committed against humanity. Next. And we are asking for protection for those family members of the Canadian citizens of Uyghur origin, because their family members are being kept in concentration camps. And we want a strong public statement demanding that China close these concentration camps and release all the Uyghur people held in these secret concentration camps. And we should ask that any new agreements made with China be based on its human rights record. This country cannot just continue to oppress and persecute. More than 1 million people are in concentration camps. Next. Can I have the next slide, please? And we're talking about sanctions being placed on China. Next slide, please. Unfortunately, I don't have the control for my slides, so I'm dependent on others to keep advancing the slides. Can I have the next slide? And I'll continue to have the next slide, please. And I'm nearly at the end of the presentation. Can I have the next slide? Okay, and we also want Canada to take refugees. They are Uyghur refugees who are currently in other countries such as Turkey, such as Malaysia, Indonesia, and these individuals have no safe haven. They actually are stateless now because they no longer have a passport. The babies that were born in these third countries do not have a citizenship of any country. So these individuals are stateless, and we are asking that Canada be one of those countries that can offer asylum to these individuals who are currently refugees. And Canada has a history of being a global humanitarian leader. We were there for all these other ethnic groups when they were being persecuted. Most recently, the Syrians. We were there for the Mennonites, the Germans, the Hungarians, the European Jews, Vietnamese, Polish, Albanians, and most recently, the Syrians. And we are asking Canada to welcome those individuals from Uyghur descent who are in difficult circumstances and are suffering as refugees in third countries. Next. And I just want to remind everybody that struggling against oppression is our duty, and speaking the truth is an obligation. It is our obligation to speak the truth. It is our obligation to enjoin right. It is our obligation to speak up at this time of the genocide. And I encourage each of us to do our duty, because this is our responsibility to our brothers and sisters who are suffering today. So with that, I'd like to pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala unite our hearts and strengthen the ummah and enable us to stand up and speak for the freedom and for the safety and the security of our brothers and sisters. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us and protect us all and enable us to speak out and become a strong nation able to defend our weak. Jazakumullahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum.